A girl promises to make a judge walk to free her dad. The court laughs until a miracle unfolds. Watch now. Let my dad go, and I'll make you walk. The court laughed, until they saw the judge get up alone. The wooden gavel struck once. All rise, the bailiff announced. Everyone stood as Judge Raymond Callahan rolled into the courtroom, his black robe flowing over the sides of his wheelchair. At 62, his presence was still commanding. His paralyzed legs didn't weaken the authority in his steel-blue eyes. He'd spent the last 10 years delivering sentences with a reputation for being merciless, especially toward men like the one seated in front of him today. A black man in his late 30s, handcuffed in front, wearing a faded peach prison jumpsuit, sat silently at the defendant's table. His name, Darius Moore, charged with obstruction, fraud, and resisting arrest. The court saw another number, another file in the stack. To Judge Callahan, it was open and shut, repeat offender, no visible remorse. The room buzzed with tension as the trial approached its final moment. Sentencing. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, the people recommend no less than 15 years. The defendant has wasted this court's time with outrageous claims of false imprisonment. Despite all evidence pointing otherwise, he lied about who he is, lied about what he can do. It's time he faced the consequences. Darius lowered his head. His public defender remained silent. She'd stopped fighting hours ago. Callahan straightened in his chair, ready to speak. But then it happened. The heavy courtroom doors creaked open. A soft patter of small footsteps echoed. Across the chamber, gasps followed. A little black girl, no older than 7, stepped quietly into the room. She wore a light blue dress, her hair neatly tied into 2 braids. No adults accompanied her. No one stopped her. She walked straight down the aisle, past rows of spectators, past murmuring lawyers and stunned bailiffs, until she stood directly in front of Judge Callahan's bench. "Who is this child?" the judge barked, confusion flashing across his face. Before anyone could answer, the girl looked up at him with calm, unblinking eyes and said, "Let my daddy go, and I'll make you walk." The courtroom exploded. Laughter burst from one of the gallery rows. A snort from the prosecution's table. Even one of the guards smirked. Callahan blinked, visibly caught off guard. "What did you just say?" "I said if you let him go," she repeated, her voice steady. "I'll make you walk. This isn't a place for jokes or fairy tales." "Bailiff, remove the girl." "Please," Darius called out suddenly, rising halfway from his seat. "Just let her speak." "Sit down," Callahan snapped. "This is highly irregular." "I came because you're not listening," the girl continued. "Nobody listens to my dad. They don't know who he really is." Callahan narrowed his eyes. "And who is he exactly?" "He used to help people, before you locked him up. He used to make them better." More chuckles. This time, even the stenographer had to look down to hide her grin. Callahan glanced at his clerk, visibly annoyed. "Why is she even allowed in here? Who let her in?" "She's his daughter," the bailiff answered awkwardly. "She walked in alone, refused to leave. We didn't know what to do. You should have stopped her at the door." "We tried." The judge looked back at the girl. "What's your name, child?" "Hope." The room fell silent again. Callahan swallowed. "Hope, I don't know what you think is going to happen here, but this is a courtroom, not a place for whatever this is." "But this is exactly where it needs to happen," she replied. "You've been sitting in that chair for 10 years, haven't you?" Callahan stiffened. "That's not your concern. You couldn't feel your legs after the accident. They said your spine was broken, that you'd never walk again." His lips thinned. "Enough. But you want to walk." Callahan's hands gripped the wheels of his chair tightly. Hope stepped closer. The bailiffs shifted. "I'm not here to scare you," she said softly. "But I'm asking you something no one else will. Please don't hurt my dad again. He didn't lie. You just didn't believe him." Callahan glanced toward Darius, his jaw clenched. Hope lifted her hand slowly, as if reaching for something unseen. "If you give him back to me," she whispered, "I'll give something back to you." Callahan opened his mouth, then paused. For the first time in a decade, he felt warmth. Not pain. Not tingling. Not an illusion. Just a subtle heat, like sunlight soaking into his knees. He looked down at his legs. Nothing had moved, yet something felt different. He looked back at Hope. The courtroom was still. Hope reached her hand a little higher. "Please," she said again, "let him go." Darius's face was trembling now, tears gathering beneath his eyes. "She's not lying." The judge stared at the child in front of him, and for the first time in his career, he couldn't speak. The room held its breath. Judge Callahan stared at the small hand reaching out to him, steady, unshaken. The warmth hadn't faded. It was growing, creeping through nerves long believed dead. An impossible flutter rose in his stomach. Hope didn't blink. She didn't pull her hand back. No one moved. The bailiffs looked to the judge for instructions, unsure if they should intervene. Callahan slowly released the rims of his wheelchair. "What are you doing to me?" "I'm not doing anything," she said gently. "You're the one who's always wanted to walk. I'm just unlocking what's still inside you." "You're a child." She nodded. "And you're afraid." Callahan's jaw clenched. "You think this is fear? You think I'm scared of some fairy tale?" "No," Hope said. "You're scared of being wrong." The words hit harder than he expected. His hands gripped the armrests, because she was right. For 10 years, he had accepted paralysis not just in his legs, but in his spirit, in his mind, in his judgments. The day he lost his ability to walk was the day he decided never to believe in anything he couldn't explain. He had built a life inside that wheelchair and locked the rest of the world out. He looked back at Darius, whose eyes were locked on his daughter, wide with awe, but not surprise. "You knew she could do this." Darius swallowed. "She's done things before. Small things. Little miracles, I thought. But I never asked her to. I never let her try this." "Why now?" "Because I told her I wasn't going to make it out of here, that I might be gone a long time. And she said, 'Not if I help.'" The judge turned back to Hope. The warmth had reached his thighs now. He blinked down at his legs, and for the first time in 10 years, he moved his right foot. The courtroom erupted. Gasps, screams, chairs scraping. Hope didn't flinch. Darius stood from his bench, cuffed hands trembling. "Judge, what's happening?" Callahan's face was pale. He looked down, disbelieving, as his left foot shifted too. Then, slowly, painfully, he pressed his palms on the arms of the chair and rose. He stood on both feet. The room went silent again. The prosecutor's mouth hung open. The bailiff took a step back, staring like he'd seen a ghost. Judge Raymond Callahan stood tall, legs shaking beneath him, but standing. He tried to speak, but his throat closed. Hope stepped back and smiled. "Now, please give me back my dad." The judge collapsed back into his seat, not from failure, but from disbelief. His whole body trembled. This is impossible." But no one was laughing anymore. The clerk whispered, "Sir, what do we do now?" Callahan looked at the file in front of him. Darius's record, years of arrests, most dismissed. One charge, no conviction. And this current one, based on an anonymous tip, no hard evidence, no victim willing to testify. It had never sat right with him. but he buried it beneath assumptions. "Bring me the arresting officer's report," he ordered, voice cracking. Within minutes, the courtroom was in motion. Paperwork shifted. Documents emerged. And something else did too. Inconsistencies, timeline gaps, witness testimony that had been fabricated. It unraveled quickly. Within the hour, Judge Callahan issued a full reversal of judgment. "Mr. Darius Moore," he said slowly, voice shaking as he stood once more, "you are hereby cleared of all charges. Your record will be expunged, and this court owes you an apology." Hope rushed to her father's arms. Darius dropped to his knees, still in chains, and hugged her tight. "She did what she promised," he whispered, burying his face into her shoulder. Callahan approached slowly. "I want to know how she did that." Darius stood and looked him in the eye. "She didn't heal you. She reminded you that you could heal yourself." Callahan shook his head. "That doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to." Callahan paused, then smiled for the first time in years. "You're free, Mr. Moore. Bailiff, remove his chains." The shackles hit the floor with a clatter. Darius lifted Hope into his arms as tears streamed down both their faces. They turned to leave, but just before they reached the doors, the judge called out, "Hope." She turned back. "Thank you." She nodded. "Now maybe you can believe." The courtroom grew still, Irene's dark skin warm as the judge's rise replayed in her mind, a shock settling deep. "Odd." "He stood," she whispered, her voice low, "the benches empty." Callahan's trembling legs lingered, the shock quiet, the air heavy, her heart full, the moment unforgettable, the truth sinking in. The gavel rested unused, the silence thick, a new reality forming. "Thoughtful. What just happened?" she murmured, her tone soft, the laughter gone, the shock holding, her faith stirring, the room dim, the day shifting, the miracle real. Callahan sat back, his dark skin pale, a doubt creeping as he felt his legs again. "Unsure. Was it real?" he whispered, his voice quiet, the chair creaking. Hope's words echoed, her hands' warmth fading, the doubt growing, the bench cold, his past rigid, the healing questioned, the night deep. The clerk approached, papers in hand, his face puzzled. "Nervous." "What now, sir?" he asked, his tone low, the doubt pressing, the courtroom still, his authority shaky, the miracle doubted, the future unclear, the moment tense. Darius held Hope, his dark skin bright with tears, a flicker of belief lighting his face. "Gentle." "You did it," he said, his voice soft, the doors near. Her small hand gripped him, the belief flickering, the chains gone, his heart warm, the court behind, a new start hinted, the day hopeful. The bailiff nodded, his stance softer, a shift beginning. "Kind." "She's special," he murmured, his tone warm, the room emptying. Darius's dark skin glowed, the belief growing, the doubt fading, the family united, the miracle accepted, the future opening, the moment light. The courtroom emptied, Callahan's dark skin calm as he watched Darius leave, a changed air settling. "Peaceful." "Maybe I was wrong," he said, his voice low, the bench still. Hope's smile lingered, the air shifting, the changed feeling deep, the room quiet, his legs steady, the past softening, the day clear. The clerk smiled, his papers stacked, a new respect forming. "Accepting." "You did right," he said, his tone gentle, the door closing. Callahan's dark skin eased, the changed air holding, the belief strengthening, the shock a memory, the court renewed, the night promising peace, the story pausing. Callahan watched Darius and Hope leave, his dark skin still tingling from the warmth, the courtroom now empty save for a lingering sense of wonder. The day's events stirred a new chapter in his mind. Callahan sat at his bench, his dark skin calm as he reviewed Darius's file, a truth creeping through the pages. "Curious. Something's off here," he whispered, his voice low, the papers rustling. Hope's words echoed, the arrests shaky, the truth emerging slow, the room quiet, his legs steady, a doubt shifting, the past questioned. The clerk returned, his face tense, a report in hand. Thoughtful. Witnesses lied, he said, his tone soft, the evidence clear. Callahan's dark skin prickled, the truth surfacing, the courtroom still, his judgment wavering, the miracle hinting, the day growing heavy with revelation. The prosecutor stormed in, his voice sharp, tension filling the air as he faced Callahan. Angry. "This can't stand," he shouted, his tone hard, the desk shaking. Callahan's dark skin tightened, his hands firm, the tension building fast, the room charged, hope's promise looming, the court buzzing, the situation teetering. Reporters gathered outside, their cameras flashing, Callahan's dark skin cold at the window. Nervous. "They'll twist this," he murmured, his voice low, the headlines brewing, the tension rising, the prosecutor's glare close, the truth at risk, the miracle doubted, the night thick with pressure. The bailiff approached, his face unsure, his voice hesitant as he spoke to Callahan. "Unsure? Are we sure about this?" he asked, his tone low, the chains clattering. Callahan's dark skin tensed, his resolve shaky, the support wavering, the room dim, his legs trembling, the decision questioned, the moment fragile. The public defender lingered, her eyes doubtful, a shift evident. Hesitant. "It's risky," she murmured, her tone soft, the file in hand. Callahan's dark skin eased slightly, the support unsteady, the courtroom warm, his authority tested, the miracle's weight growing, the night deep with uncertainty. Darius sat with hope at home, his dark skin bright with relief, a flicker of hope holding strong. "Gentle. You saved me," he said, his voice soft, the table clear. Her small hand gripped his, the hope lingering, the chains gone, his heart full, the court behind, a new start hinted, the day peaceful. A neighbor knocked, her face kind, her voice warm. Reassuring. "We're with you," she said, her tone gentle, the door open. Darius's dark skin glowed, the hope steadying, the support returning, the family growing, the miracle accepted, the future opening, the night promising calm. Callahan sat alone at his bench, his dark skin warm from the day's shift, the clerk's report hinting at a choice as the courthouse grew quiet. Hope's words echoed, pushing him toward a decision. Callahan paced his office, his dark skin tense under the evening light, his mind grappling with a decision as the city hummed below. "Unsure. Should I trust this?" he whispered, his voice low, the chair creaking. Hope's steady gaze lingered, the evidence shaky, the choice looming large, the room dim, his legs steady, the past clashing with hope. The window framed the courthouse's shadow, the prosecutor's anger ringing, a step needed. Thoughtful. "What's right for them?" he murmured, his tone soft, the choice pressing, his authority tested, his heart torn, the miracle questioned, the night thick with doubt. A soft knock broke the silence, a lawyer entered, his dark skin warm as he offered a file, help stepping in. Kind. "I found more proof," he said, his voice gentle, the papers crisp. Callahan's dark skin eased, his hands steadying, the help arriving like a guide, the office brightening, the file's details lifting, the tension easing. The bailiff joined, his face kind, his voice firm. Reassuring. "We'll back you," he said, his tone soft, standing near. The lawyer nodded, the help growing strong, Callahan's resolve firming, the room warming, a shield against doubt forming, the courthouse walls steadying. Darius stood with hope at home, his dark skin bright with faith, courage flickering brighter. "Gentle. We'll fight this," he said, his voice soft, the table clear. Her small hand gripped his, the courage growing, the chains gone, his heart bold, the court behind, a new stand hinted, the day hopeful. A friend visited, her face steady, her voice warm. Confident. "You're not alone," she said, her tone gentle, the door open. Darius's dark skin glowed, the courage strengthening, the help holding, the family united, the miracle believed, the future opening, the night promising strength. Callahan reviewed the file, his dark skin calm under the lamp, a hint of clarity breaking through. Curious. It's all fabricated, he said, his voice low, the papers trembling. The lawyer's findings showed false testimony, the clarity dawning, the room still, his heart racing, the truth nearing. The prosecutor's call came, his voice shaken, a shift evident. Hesitant. "We may have erred," he murmured, his tone soft, the line crackling. Callahan's dark skin eased, the clarity growing, the past aligning, his role shifting, the courthouse's secrets unraveling, the day clear with purpose. Callahan held the file, his dark skin steady as the prosecutor's call echoed, the courthouse buzzing with the promise of a miracle. Hope's quiet strength lingered, hinting at a turning point ahead. Callahan stood in his office, his dark skin warm as he felt a tingle in his legs, a miracle breaking through. "Odd. It's happening," he whispered, his voice low, the chair unused. Hope's hands' warmth returned, the miracle unfolding, the room bright, his feet shifting, the past fading, his heart racing, the truth alive. The clerk rushed in, his face bright, his voice trembling. Excited. "You're standing," he said, his tone soft, the door open. Callahan's dark skin glowed, the miracle growing, the office quiet, his legs firming, the doubt gone, the courthouse stirring, the moment powerful. The prosecutor burst in, his voice sharp, challenges filling the air as he faced Callahan. Angry. "This is a stunt," he shouted, his tone hard, the desk shaking. Callahan's dark skin tensed, his hands steady, the challenges rising fast, the room tense, Hope's promise tested, the court buzzing, the situation teetering. Reporters crowded outside, their cameras flashing, Callahan's dark skin cold at the window. Worried. "They'll call it fake," he murmured, his voice low, the headlines looming, the challenges mounting, the prosecutor's glare close, the miracle at risk, the truth questioned, the night thick with pressure. Callahan faced the prosecutor, his dark skin bold under the light, his voice firm despite the storm. Confident. "I stand for justice," he said, his tone strong, the file in hand. The clerk stood by, his support quiet, the strength shining through, the room still, his scars a badge, the belief clear, the moment commanding. The bailiff joined, his stance firm, his gaze steady. Determined. "We'll hold firm," he said, his voice warm, the tension breaking. Callahan's dark skin glowed, the strength holding, the challenges met, the courthouse calming, his role affirmed, the miracle standing tall, the day bright with resolve. The courtroom grew quiet, Callahan's dark skin warm as he walked slowly, a moment of faith settling. Hopeful. "I believe now," he said, his voice low, the bench near. Hope's smile lingered, the faith sinking in, the room peaceful, his legs steady, the past healed, a bond hinted. Darius entered, his dark skin bright, Hope at his side, a reunion forming. "Gentle." "Thank you," he murmured, his tone soft, the door open. Callahan's dark skin eased, the faith growing, the strength shining, the challenges fading, the night promising answers, the story nearing its peak. Callahan stood by the bench, his dark skin steady as Darius and Hope approached, the courthouse holding its breath for a final act. The miracle's warmth lingered, promising justice ahead. The courtroom filled again, Callahan's voice firm as he faced the crowd, justice unfolding. Confident. "Darius Moore is free," he said, his tone strong, the gavel raised. The prosecutor's silence hung, the justice served clear, the room buzzing, Darius's dark skin bright, the charges dropped, his heart full, the truth shining. The clerk read the verdict, his voice steady, the papers crisp. "Serious." "Record expunged," he said, his tone low, the chains gone. Callahan's dark skin glowed, the justice holding, the courthouse quiet, the past corrected, the miracle affirmed, the day marked with fairness, the moment powerful. Darius hugged Hope, his dark skin warm with tears, love breaking through the victory. "Gentle." "You're my strength," he whispered, his voice soft, the bench near. Callahan approached, his face soft, the bonds proven in his smile, the room still, her small hand gripping, the past healed, the family united, the connection deep. Morning light filled the courtroom, Callahan's dark skin calm as he watched Darius leave, peace settling over all. Peaceful. We're whole now, he said, his voice low, the bench empty. Hope's smile lingered, the peace arriving like a quiet dawn, the room still, the justice done, the bond secure, the future bright with hope. The bailiff smiled, his stance relaxed, his face kind. Accepting. A new day, he said, his tone warm, the doors open. Callahan's dark skin eased, the peace growing deep, the courthouse silent, the past forgiven, the family strong, the city skyline clear, their new life beginning. Days later, Darius's home rang with laughter, his dark skin bright as he played with hope, a fresh start unfolding. Happy. We're free, he said, his voice light, the room full of joy. Callahan visited, his walk steady, the start blossoming, the house warm, her courage a memory, the love guiding them, the justice a foundation, the future open. They stood on the porch, the street quiet below, his hand in hers. Content. Together always, he whispered, his tone soft, the sky glowing. Hope smiled, her dark skin radiant, the peace settling deep, the bonds proven true, the challenges gone, the family whole, the court's miracle a bridge to happiness, their bond lasting. This story teaches that belief in miracles can bring justice and mend broken bonds with love. What a heartwarming end. Did it inspire you? Like the video, subscribe today, and share your thoughts below. We love hearing from you. Callahan knelt, his legs firm, his voice warm. Ernest. You changed me, he murmured, his tone gentle, the wheelchair aside. Darius's dark skin eased, the bonds growing strong, the justice sealing them, the courthouse warming, their hearts aligning, the moment pure with trust.